there, my true cruise aficionados. Good afternoon, my Trues Clues aficionados. I hope you all are doing well out there today, taking care of each other, watching out for yourself. If you're seeing something, saying something, and cha-cha. And I are here in Estes Park, which is about a 2-hour drive from where I live in the mountains, and it's a completely different scenery out here. And of course, I knew I was going to come out here, so I've been doing some research on crime in Colorado, which is my favorite, but also crime that has been focused out here. So I did come across this case by a woman of the name of Janet Arredondo. And at first it didn't strike any similarities to me, and then I started doing a deep dive into the case, and oh yeah, I started remembering a lot of information that had transpired throughout the years on that one. So that takes me to, it's going to be like a 3-part story here, because I want to address 3 different people in this involving scenario that took place with everybody. So the first person I want to talk about is going to be, her name is Jackie Crizazo. I do remember from seeing her on TV how unfortunate it was, the events that happened to her. And again, like I'm telling you guys, as I said before, the road to hell is paved with many good intentions. And this woman came close to giving all her life, but instead she ended up paralyzed. The interesting thing about it is that 7 years later, she had another confrontation with a gun and death. So we're going to get started here with her first. So, my travel glasses. And Jackie was 31 years old in 1994. She was a divorced mother of 3 and 3 girls. She lived in Wheat Ridge, which is between Denver, Boulder, and where I'm at now. I'm in Lyons, just outside of Estes Park. So about 5:30 in the morning, it's cold, it's icy, it's February, and she's going to nearby Thornton to visit her dad. And while she's driving down there, she's on interstate, the section of interstate where 25, 76, and 270, which is called the Boulder Turnpike. Sorry for her driving up there like that in that winter time there. That's not good. Jackie saw 2 cars pull to the side of the highway, up a hill from her position. One had its headlights on, the other, a blue Geostorm, had emergency flashers on. A man standing near one of the cars and a blue jean-clad woman wearing a loose floral shirt was running down the hill towards Jackie. She was not yelling or screaming, but she had a look of dread on her face. You know how it is when you're so intent, you're just trying to get down there, get shit done. You're not worried about people listening, hearing anything. You're just intent on that one focus. And hers was getting away from this man who was intent on trying to kill her. The woman said she really needed help. So Jackie stopped, backed up, and the woman gratefully jumped in the car. And then shouted frantically there was a man trying to kill her and he had a gun. So at that point, she's like, okay, let's get out of here. So they take off. And Rhonda was a cocktail waitress close to where I live. And she was up in the casino areas because it's pretty high in altitude. And he had followed her, which I believe he had been tracking her all along. But anyway, he followed her down. It was in hot pursuit of her, and then this was taking place. She worked until about 2 a.m. and then got in a little car. She was bumped by another car forced off the road. Rhonda hysterically began to tell Jackie what happened. She got locked out of her car and that the man she looked out of her car at the man she had seen. He had come down the hallway of the hill, come down halfway down the hill, following Rhonda, but now he turned towards his own car. Jackie headed immediately forward to the safest haven that she could think of, the police station in Thornton, which was just 2 more exits down the freeway. Well, he got in his car, he followed her, he got up next to her, and he just charged his weapon all into the car. She knew she could not move. She knew she was injured. She really was trying to get her senses about her to figure out what is happening. Is this really going on? She falls out of the car, and all she can see is him come up to the car and grab Rhonda and take her away. And then she's laying there trying to figure out how the hell or what the hell to do. Am I going to make it? What's going to go on? Finally, emergency help gets on the way, and nobody's listening to her because, of course, they're trying to save her life. She is in critical condition. She ends up paralyzed. She loses teeth, where she was grievously injured here in her face as well. So she goes down and she's trying to tell everybody that, there's still a concern to be had because this woman is MIA. She doesn't know what happened to her, and she just put all of this on the line trying to save this lady. So eventually they come around to the fact and they, start looking for Rhonda Maloney. But in the meantime, this woman has her own struggles. She has to go through rehab. She goes through several surgeries. I mean, it's a long time before she gets back to her 3 girls. And she's a single parent. So she comes back. They're doing the best they can. She likes to restore Mustangs. And so she's working on getting that done and doing her own thing there. And eventually, she thinks things are going to be okay. But she never is that okay that she doesn't always carry a gun with her in her little backpack where she keeps all of her goodies at. Well, one of those goodies is a pistol. So she has a daughter who has a strange boyfriend, or an overbearing, I guess not strange because we hear about it more often than not, an extremely overbearing boyfriend. And so she, doesn't know what to do. I'm sure she doesn't like the guy. I'm sure he's shown several attitudes or several ways, that he could be a precarious person. So she doesn't trust him or she doesn't like him, but she had, experience with using bang bangs. So she had no trouble in getting a license. And her brother had been a police officer, showed her how to take care of herself. So she was ready, she was going to protect herself no matter what, to protect her and her family. And that's her right, I guess. You don't have to, I don't even get into that. But anyway, she felt it was her right, and this is how she's going to take care of it. After she graduated from high school, Jackie's oldest daughter, Hannah, went to Texas to attend an automotive repair school there. That's where she met Justin Michael Getz, 21. And she started dating him. And like I said, he had already shown red flags. Jackie did not like him, but of course kids are going to do what they do, and most people do listen to their heart. It's a rare person that doesn't, and wise are they if they can. Gates damaged Hannah's old truck by hauling loads that were way too heavy for the truck. I guess he had some kind of heavy material kind of job, so he was using her truck, and he just blew it, destroyed it, wasn't being cautious at all. And then, so her mom gets her a Mustang, a V8. Whoa, girl. Woohoo. And she laid down the rules. She said Hannah's boyfriend is not to drive, do any work, just stay away from the car, period and final. So that just royally pissed him off. And he's like, who are you to tell me what to do? And his behavior got worse. Hannah graduated from automotive school. And when she did, somebody savagely trashed the car that her mother gave her. I mean, it made it irreparable. Well, who would have done that, honestly? We don't know. Somebody that's babyish, that has a chip on their shoulder and an axe to grind. Getz was verbally abusive to Hannah as well, and mildly and physically abusive. Well, you start with one thing and you end up on a whole other end of things. I know, been through it. It doesn't work out well. So Hannah began to agree with her mother about the unsuitability of the relationship, and Jackie drove down to Texas and picked her daughter up and brought her back to Colorado. And who wouldn't do that? You wouldn't put them on a plane, put them on a train, put them on a bus, go get them yourself, but that baby needs to come home. And so Getz didn't take this well. He continued to harass and, do what abusers do. Just take care of his situation and make his tiny little pebbles feel like they were huge. On November 9th, Getz called Hannah, threatened to kill, gonna have to bleep that one, threatened to off her and her whole family if she did not come back to him. She refused. He hired a private detective, quote unquote. The detective would be in a truck near the house. He wanted Hannah to give the detective something to give back to him. Jackie was smart enough not to fall for the ploy and called the police to check out the private detective in the truck. Saved himself a buck or two, and he just was stalking her himself. Isn't that convenient? And so the police didn't know whether to believe Hannah's assertions about the threats of Getz denials or no arrest was made. Now, Jackie knew he was in Colorado now, not in Texas, because he just gave himself away, and that he'd been the one stalking him in Colorado the whole time. Traditional, teeny-minded, I feel bad about myself, so I have to make somebody else feel bad about themselves, so I feel powerful type of behavior. The day eventually passed, but Jackie's unease did not diminish. Saturday night, she insisted all three of her children sleep downstairs in the basement with her where her bedroom was. They were 16, 17, and 19 at the time. Around 2 a.m. in the morning, Getz came to their home. Lined up outside of the back were several old Mustangs that Jackie was in the process of restoring. He found one that he could get inside of and set it on fire. Because, of course, people have to pay for his emotions being damaged. Jackie got into her wheelchair, woke her daughters up when she noticed something was going on, thought they were going to be okay, noticed smoke starting to come in from the back of the house, got everybody out. The front of the driveway was like semicircular, and Jackie took her family to one end to meet the three firefighters who soon arrived. She explained that the fire was arson, obviously, because he jumped in the car, was trying to do as much damage to them as possible, and hey, if there was a couple of them that were off in the process, even better. So, she looks up from her wheelchair across the yard, and who's coming at him? But that crazy Getz. Coming towards him, he's got a large firearm and then a small one. Fires a warning shot into the air, and then he's going to start leveling it at the crowd. She, of course, has her own weapon, pulls the weapon, and he wasn't expecting that. And she took full advantage to protect herself, and he ended up getting hurt in the leg. And then he's like going down. Oh my God, don't hurt me, don't hurt me, I've been hurt, stop. So of course, who's the decent one between the two? She is, and of course she does stop, because had it been him, I sincerely doubt it there would have been anything to stop him. So while this was all happening, the firefighters, who were of course unarmed, raced behind the fire truck where the three girls also took cover. Jackie had felt she was in a safe position behind a car and kept her bang bang pointed at Getz, who was spread eagle on the ground about 2 feet away from his dropped firearms. While waiting for the police to arrive, the police officer responded to the scene. He drew his gun and told Jackie to drop hers. Reluctantly, but knowing she'd had no other option, because that would have turned into a different kind of a disadvantageous, violent scene. So as of this writing, which was a while back, I'll give you an update as we go through the case here. What happened to him. I didn't completely look that up yet, because I'm not as concerned about what happened to him as what happened to Jackie. But anyway, they took her little backpack and they took her little protection away from her, and they called it evidence, and they didn't want to give it back to her. And so she just had to go out and buy new ones. I think she must do okay for herself if she's restoring Mustangs. But I do remember her interviews on TV when she was first injured, you know, when she was well enough to be able to talk to the news about it. And she just looked like a wonderful lady. Very kind, not hating on the fact that she was hurt like that. She was going to do what she had to do for another human being, and that was that. And in all honesty, those are the ones that seem to get hurt and taken advantage of. So, I don't know. You decide for yourself. I had a conversation over the weekend where somebody was asking me, are you sure when murderers get caught? Well, there's a lot of scientific evidence these days to prove whether you're innocent or not. Besides that, a lot of these people, abhor or want power, abhor people and want power. So they admit to a lot of this crap themselves. Okay? So with that being said, my peeps, I hope you have a good day today. Chacha and I are going to get out and enjoy some of the Estes Park weather. It's in the 70s today. With that being said, if you guys see something, say something. Take care of yourself out there now.